Hello everybody and welcome to Gengar Z Plays Death Stranding. For the last time. I've got one more objective and one more delivery to do, and that's about it. I think there's much more after this. Well, doesn't look like there's anything after this. Oh, connected to him as well.
Lou? 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 Hey, Lou? Lou? This is on me. Lou? This is on me.
I guess this one's alright. This is America, but this is the guy that the Microsoft files, obviously. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Good jeez, they had to make this so loud. Okay. This is the one music that I'm not liking. Okay. Did you wanna... I wonder if I go back and change. Oh, come on. Well, it's the second song I listen to. I also listen to the intro song and talked over a lot. But I'm not liking this song. They're finally done. Great. That music was not. I just didn't feel that music was appropriate at all. Like, I think it would have been more fitting if they'd just done like it's. In fact, I think it should have been Mads Mikkelsen singing that. He should have been singing that song. Just having him sing the whole song normally. I have a bit of instrumental in the back, or orchestral instrumental in the background. A hex whip. I gotta do a monster, right? Was Lou the thing he was going to name his child, if he did have a child? I should turn off my... You know what? I should probably just have this on. Hello. It's fine. You just missed the music, BB's music theme. I know, we have to burn them.
guess we're here. You still with me, Lou?
Poor thing was never truly alive. Not in this world, at least.
Thanks for everything.
Child special. One of a kind.
A BB candidate.
Either that or
A sacrifice.
a foundation.
Lou Sam. And then they had the car and
Brought you an astronaut. Mankind can go anywhere, even outer space. You'll be out of there in no time. And the second all this is over, I'm gonna take you wherever you wanna go. Can I help you? Holy shit. John, is that you?
Captain, what are you doing here?
My wife's checked in. They don't want a repeat of last year.
The void out. In Manhattan. I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were the husband.
This isn't what we agreed on. You said you'd do everything in your power to save BB.
We are. But we cannot release your son just yet. Believe me when I tell you it's for the best.
This is some woman in a mask who's done nothing but lie to me.
I have a duty to protect our country. Lies are an unfortunate necessity.
The President gave me the highest level access privileges. I've used them to manipulate the security system. We have 5 minutes before it resets, sir. 5 minutes to talk. Off the record.
well, more like 4:40 now. 1 minute 40 seconds.
Take BB and get out of this place. There's nothing I can do for your wife. I'm sorry. You were my commanding officer, but I swore an oath to the President to protect her and the country at all costs. Now, if she orders me to do something, I have to do it. I have to. But I served under you first. And your family doesn't deserve this. Any of this.
Why are you helping me? If they catch you.
Because you saved my life, sir. Again and again. When the brass sent us into the jaws of hell, it was you that brought us home. Back then, I thought I was invincible. I thought I was some kind of action hero. But I'm not the hero. You are, sir. You're the reason I'm still alive. And it's past time I paid that debt. They're moving your son to a new facility tomorrow. You'll never see him again. He'll serve as the foundation of a new communications network. A sacrifice for a nation that no longer exists. I wrote down everything you need to know. It was the only way to keep it off the system. Burn it when you're done. The rest is up to you, sir. I believe this belongs to you, sir. Now, I can't terminate your wife's life support from inside her room. The system won't allow it. So, this is the only other option.
Looking very Blade Runnerish.
An alarm is set to go off if she flatlines. I've rigged the system to spoof her vitals. But you won't have long. 5 minutes, tops. Don't hesitate, sir. This is the only chance you'll get.
Ah, right, he's trying to make a silencer, I guess.
I'm sorry, Lisa. Don't worry. I'll take care of him. I promise you. Promise you. My hand, Lisa.
Is he gonna suffocate her or is he gonna shoot her? Oh, right, he's... Oh, okay.
Bibi. Bibi.
just took your cufflinks offline. In that state, there'd be nothing to stop you from removing them. If you did, the UCA wouldn't know where you were or how to find you. You'd be invisible. When you use the incinerator, you'll be reconnected to the network automatically. You could try taking Lou out of the pod just to see what happens. But that would be in direct contravention of an executive order. Purpose that cannot fulfill outside the pod. There is a 70% risk of catastrophic failure simply in removing it.
No, it's like enthusiasm, Strasbourg. Jesus, this is awkward. Seriously, I really like that outfit. This haircut. You just look so great in that outfit. Almost makes me want it.
Hey, put it down! Drop it! Put it down!
Back off. Back off!
Get him! Don't do it! I'll handle this. Got it! You two! Stay there! And hold your fire!
I mean, I wouldn't think they're that foolish. Oh.
Thanks for trying, John.
Stop! Step aside, sir. Or we'll be forced to open fire.
It's a dead end. He's trapped. Security will take it from here.
What the? Man, that's such a nice suit.
I'm sorry, Lisa. I screwed it up. I've ruined everything.
This room is off limits. No one goes in. But he's in there, sir. I saw him. You stole him. Now check the other way. Go! Yes, sir.
No. Open it up even farther.
Move, dumbass.
BB. Don't worry. It's okay. I'll always be with you. See the sunset. The day is ending. And let that yawn out. There's no pretend. I will hold you and protect you from that
See? That's much more emotional than the song that they were working with.
When I found out I was gonna be a father, I was so scared. Scared of what it would mean. I had to be there for you, Mom. I couldn't just go off and get myself killed. Couldn't leave you all alone.
Get off of him! Now!
I had it all wrong. All wrong. Being a father didn't make me scared. It made me brave. I'm sorry. Sorry it took me so long.
Captain. Look at you.
Don't make the same mistake. Be yourself. Be free.
Oh my God.
Captain. I need you to hand it over.
Shoot him, John.
Jeez. Wasn't expecting vibration here.
Let it go. Please.
Shoot him! I gave you an order. Shoot him!
They told me your name was Sam Porter. But you're Sam Bridges. My son. My bridge to the future. Without you, I was just like any other Cliff. Dead end. No way forward. Nothing but an obstacle. Looking on at the world people like you are trying to build. Dividing people was the only thing I was ever good at. But not you, Sam. You bring people together. You're their bridge to the future. Mine. Come on, Sam. Stand up.
Is this me?
Yep. Gone, huh? So they don't believe that they're father and son. Just because they really don't look it. Oh, okay, how's that happen that way?
Oh, God. Not BB2.
Ah,
No, 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 no!
but the loop is revealed. Well, my connection to it was like, why does he and BB work together? Wait a minute. Where does the baby's body come into it? Again, more questions. I don't think it's going to be explained all that well. If this is the case, why is our baby able to... Why does the baby exist here?
There you are.
What? Okay, how do you know he's called Sam?
You want to go home? Let's go home. It's okay. I know the way.
Okay, again, can you please explain how there's two Sams at one place? I mean, even you are two places at once. Two at the same places at once. Also, explain why Cliff comes back if he already knows most of this. Or, I guess that's a figmentation of whatever. Again, it's just trying to explain it. It's just like, excluding the Sam is also the baby's carrying thing. Which is... Okay, can you explain that a bit more?
It was me who cut the cord. So yes.
A deathless repatriate in the world of the living. Should we decommission it?
In a manner of speaking. Take him out of the pod.
Okay. Yeah, but is he the same baby that he's carrying? Because that I don't think is the same. I guess it's not the same BB. Man, this is the...
Come on, Lou.
Yeah, okay, I don't think it's the same one.
Come on, Lou, wake up.
Right, okay, it's not right.
Come on, Lou, wake up. Wake up. Come on. Wake up! Wake up.
Speaking a bit prematurely there, how did you know that was going to happen for you? Well, you already knew it happened, didn't you? Well, I guess timefall isn't a thing anymore, it's just no rain. Are you not going to... Are they doing 2 credits within like 2 hours of each other? No, not 2 hours. 1 hour. You're not seriously gonna pull. We're doing the credits twice. This is the second time I'm seeing the credits. I guess this is the more normal version of them. But this is the second time the credits are all being flashed in my face. Thank you, Stra, as well. It's nice to, it was nice to have you here for most of it as well. Thank you. Wait, Higgs? Oh, right, that's fine. Yeah, I watched the... I watched it, I watched the best way to do it on hard mode. Which way just showed me, try to get behind him and use your strand to take him down, and then get multiple hits. Cliff? Cliff's not that difficult at all. Unfortunately, his biggest drawback is that he has a pattern. Like, I mean, look how easily I kept going in and out for the attacking him. He goes into a position for like 2 or 3 phases of the fight, which just kind of ruins it. Like, the only one that really had me on edge, I think, was the World War I one. World War II was in a big open stage where I can keep luring to a certain position where he's going to go back to his own AI path. And the third one, there's so much grass around that it didn't really matter. That one's the easiest. I don't know how you struggle. Like, that's the one I actually had the least struggle with. You'd think the first one would be easiest because the how near now it is, but no, that just makes it more difficult for you to try and get around the enemies when the enemies not spot you. The other 2 stages give you a big range to roll out, especially if you pick the right gear. I'm not even sure what this music is. So I think after this I don't have wait, what am I talking about? I've got a War 2018 still on my shelf. I could move on to that, but there are also other games that I just got, well, I've gotten recently that I could play. I enjoyed the gameplay, yes. The story, however, just kind of feels a whole lot cobbled together. In fact, we didn't... At the end, we didn't even see Mama / Lochner or Hartman at the end. Like, what's happening with them? There's a good question. It's like, is Hartman ever going to find his family? It may all be an after credits. More than a few. Nope. I never killed anybody. Made that a choice, just wasn't going to kill anyone. Probably. No, I never did it. Never killed one.
See You can take my heart, hold it together as we fall apart. Maybe together we can make a mark in the stars we've been apart. We'll keep us together as the lights go
What questions you have? What happens if you don't scan to the incinerator?
Let's open up to the sky, asking it for closure. At least we can say that we tried, but it's never really over. What will become of us all at the end of the line? Will we live? Will we die? You can take my heart and hold it together as we fall apart. Maybe together we can make a mark in the stars we've been apart.
Oh.
Keep us together as the light.
I literally think that'd be a mechanic to which, like, you'll create a giant crater where the mule's fingerless, well, mule's capless. Can't display that, isn't it? So doesn't that mean it'd just be more of a pain to try and kill them? Yeah, Kojima really likes that. I think the end is a smarter way. I mean, the sorrow is the smarter way to do it.
Louise.
So I didn't name him after. No, I don't. Well, I don't think so. I think it's that he named it after his wife, or whoever he's in that picture with. Look, I can look it up now that I finished at home. You know, I was just talking to Louise. Okay, so he's talking to the baby? Okay. Thank you. No problem. Oh, okay, never mind.
Good morning, Sam. Blood collection complete. Thank you for your generosity.
Well, look who's awake. Morning, Sam. You'll be happy to hear your vitals have stabilized, and that you're well on your way to recovery. Ah, not that it's your fault, but what I wouldn't give to trade places. We're all stuck in the president's office, working like dogs to get everything ready in time for the inauguration. But at least one of us is still free as a bird. You should head out. Make the most of it. Could even do some orders if you wanted. Might do you good to get back in the game. You may recall it was raining buckets back when you left for Amelie's Beach. We took a real beating at the time, but we've done our best to service the structures and vehicles in the area. So you know, any cargo that was stored in your private locker at a damaged facility should have been transferred to your private locker here at this distro center. Anyway, busy or not, we'll still be on the end of the line if you need us. And if you want some alone time, we should be able to manage for now. Just make sure you're back in time for the big day, all right? See you then. Hey, Sam, you sure you don't have any unfinished business?
See. I'm meant to go to his inauguration, or am I? Hold on. Oh boy. I guess so. Hold on. Ow. I should use it. No. Okay, right, yeah, that's pretty much it. Victor Frank, bona fide hero. Well, you actually pulled it off. Made it all the way out west, and came back to tell the tale. I've got to admit, I was worried you wouldn't see it through. Seemed like a tall order for anyone, after all. It hasn't been easy for the people you left behind, but I told myself I'd try not to blame you. That wouldn't be fair. I'm sorry I ever doubted you. You're a real hero, Sam, and there's plenty of us out here who will never forget it. Thanks. Yep. The car artist. The waiting's back on. Dear Sam, I hope you're doing alright. So, my mother told us what happened 5 years ago. It's weird how we don't have any memory of it, though I'm glad for that. Some things are better forgotten, I think. His gang killed my parents. There's no denying that. But, for fuck's sake, sounds like I have to hear this first. My daughter and her husband's tragic past. Dear Sam, maybe you've heard, but my daughter turned up here the other day, saying she was moving back home. Not long after that, her man came around looking for her, so I decided it was time to come clean and tell him the whole truth about what happened 5 years ago. The truth about how they first met. Yeah, that's Kings. Again, I've already found this Alstraza in a previous stream. I went to the bunker and saw Higgs's hideout. Got the trophy. Okay. My daughter's real parents were killed by a gang of junk dealers, a gang to which her own husband used to belong. He was just a boy at the time, though, and in fact he was the one who saved her life. Somehow he convinced the others to leave her be. I still remember the way he was holding her hand when I found them. As scared she was, hood pulled over her face, unable to find the words. I tell you, the boy chose to strike out on his own after that and set himself up as a prepper, but no, I won't deny it. I didn't want to take care of them both, so I sent him on his way. It was pure chance that they would meet again, that they met again and fell in love. Fate, maybe. Though I cursed it that day. Let me tell you, they didn't remember each other. See, trauma. You see, they don't remember each other. You see, trauma, I suppose. So it was my burden alone to bear. Even if I wanted to keep them apart, I wouldn't dare remind them of all that. But after everything that happened, I realized it had to be done. They both needed to remember the whole of it. That he'd saved her life, sure. But that it wouldn't have need save it if it wasn't for his gang. Knowing the truth, could they see their way to reconciliation? Well, after some thinking, they told me that if you love someone, nothing else matters. Can you believe that? So I told them to give it another. I told them to give it another go. It won't be easy, and frankly, it shouldn't be. But I sincerely believe they have what it takes. I want them to get married. And I'll support the decision. This gang killed my parents, there's no denying that, but there's no... Sorry. Well, I'll be back in a moment. Right, sorry about that. It's well, number one, I had to open my curtains to let in sunlight because, but eventually looking at something to the point, looking at something so much starts to strain my eyes and I start to see like black lines. Like I was trying to read your comments there, Straswell, and black lines were appearing on your text. That's because of how dark the room is and how bright this is while I'm trying to read it. Also just turned all things off. His gang killed my parents, there's no denying that, but there's also no denying that he saved my life. He took me by the hand and led me to safety. I wish I could remember that much at least, even if it meant having to remember some of the rest. He was there for me 5 years ago, and ever since my mother's been there for me, too. It's because of them and their love that I survived, that I became who I am today. I owe them everything. Well, may not everything. I shouldn't forget how you've helped me, Sam. I can't thank you enough. Anyway, I'm going back to our own shelter now. No more running away from me. I've got a wedding to plan after all.
Special. One of a kind.
A baby candidate.
Either that or
a sacrifice.
Huh? I'm just wondering if there's anything different.
A foundation. A bridge.
Nope, it does not look like there's anything different. I guess you can fight those guys again. On a cliff.
You okay? You asleep? Adorable.
That's not the one I pressed. I guess I didn't press right correctly then. Okay, what was the point of that last one? Okay, that one didn't work either. I was trying to press up. I can't tell if I'm missing somewhere. I'm just on my end, so it's not picking up. Okay. Yep. Didn't get that one before. That was bottom. What's bottom right? That was all of them. Also, am I missing weapons? There's nothing under that quadruple launcher, and that's pretty bare as well. Oh, wait, I should examine the table. Sorry. Oh, it's Salmon Cliff, I think. Or is it Salmon Arbor?
Beginning scan. Scanning Bridges ID. Verifying ID.
Well, thanks. You did me a real favor there.
Thank you for your contribution.
But yeah, I'll get the... I'll make the order this one. Yeah, I'll just do these in the meantime while I, review the game, I guess. Sure if I still need those. Thank you. Oh right, I forgot to make myself a power skeleton. I was wondering what was wrong.
Order assigned. Delivery parameters updated. Time limit set.
No. Okay. So I'm trying to do this as best as I can, while also trying to do some missions. The game is a 7 out of 10. The game's best aspects come from its... Well, I was trying to think of like the end of this. The best term I could give this game is that it really should just be well, it might be better off just being played as a delivery simulator rather than any other aspect of the game. It's really is its core and it's really what's good at. The whole mechanic of being able to hold your weights, the weight shifting, was a whole lot. Thank you. Did he? Yeah, I hate when son does that. Vehicles in it, Jesus, it's gonna be difficult, especially when I'm this late into the day. So title still is a thing. I don't think the BTs are still there. Management system for your equipment set pretty well. The way it affects your balance, the way it affects your movement. Unfortunately, you don't have to put too much thought into it. Oh, bollocks. And oh, great, it's just... Well, I've made this mistake before. Okay, so that is still happening. Being able to being able to pick up luggage before didn't really come into play that much, so definitely much to mention about it. What I did like that it had an impact on the boss fights. just gonna have to make this to the wind so talk in the cloud. The gameplay going on because it's really hard to make. Oh, I can't order while I'm on the bike, okay.
I'm so glad. You always take such good...
Okay. That's how pink colors now. That's fine.
I don't know if it'll help, but feel free to take this with you. Safe travel, Sam.
Good work. New order available. Please access delivery terminal for further information.
Right. Just gonna have to start rambling now, so I don't do it. Here it's gonna drive me. Well, I've just shown out. My head is great to talk right now. Shouldn't hear why will help. try and play and think anymore. It's just not working for me. So, as I said, the core gameplay of delivering packages, the whole white mechanics, being able to pick them up very easily, being able to order them very easily onto your back and all that, the aspect of the game works great. Unfortunately, it's about 2/3 of the game. The other third is where it becomes lackluster in the gameplay. So I'll finish talking about the mechanics, the weight mechanics. All the equipment they give you, I mean, it's great. For example, what's the point of me reprinting boots all the time when it's not really something to give me process to? Whereas when I got something like a power skeleton, like a floating truck, well, I can't remember the names, but any equipment that I'm tired now. Any equipment that actually did help me in the field, that deteriorating would be like a detriment to me. So it makes sense, like, yeah, you have to wash this while I have it out. But when I have a pair of boots or something, or maybe power gloves, like, make it more of an indestructible item, I guess. It's not like it's extremely tedious, it's just there's no real point for me to keep thinking about it. Just because they made the last too long already, or I don't get to use them enough to make it more viable an option to keep thinking about it. As for all the other items, I didn't get to use them much, but that's not to say I didn't use other people's items, like their ladders and ropes, through the online section. It was something that came in extremely handy during this game, which I do commend them for, is like having online structures from other people, which become immensely helpful during certain parts of the game. And I guess that was a real benefit of playing this later instead of closer to release. There are probably a lot more of those structures. As for the delivery missions, unfortunately there isn't that much variety of them. You get the missions of delivering a corpse. I think I delivered 3 or 4 bodies. I remember the Cairo artist where you delivered them over the... Well, I guess I could say I delivered baby's body to incinerator. So maybe that isn't wrong. And we also had Mama's body. I don't know why I'm so tired. Or sleep. No, I'm tired. Okay, the online structure. So the other for the gameplay on well, no, hold on, I was talking about the type of missions. Type of delivery missions. You had the standard just get and go there mission. You had the... Well, yeah, this is more regulated Mega Cell 5, in fact. There's more regulated Phantom Pain missions. Even less variety than there was in the Phantom Pain, because all you're doing is delivering packages, mainly. The packages, we only have 3 types. 1 being the standards, 2 being they're extremely fragile, or can't be submerged in water or something like that. The container doesn't last long. Or number 3 has to be carried by hand. It's like it forces you to go on foot or something. The whole traversing the land and building connections with people, it can work if you want to expand it, if you want to upgrade or update your connection with people and like get better items out of it. It's just like it's not necessary. But that part of the aspect of the game really does work well, and I can't fault it on it. That's it side. Because it cohesively all works. The only aspect of that I didn't like was just how small the map is. I get the game had to be built very quickly. Well, has to be built in a certain amount of time, so we can expand it more than that. It's just like United America, and I really feel like I've only traversed like maybe a state or 2. In fact, even less. I mean, Sam can nearly walk across the entire US. It's like, if I'm not taking like several hours to get, like, imagine it might take you 10. I'm not gonna chance saying 10. It's probably gonna take you about 30 to 50 hours, maybe 100 hours, several days to cross the US. Which I guess isn't too far of a stretch, considering how it'll be do it in this game. Yeah, that is a factor. Now on to mules and the BTs and the boss battles. Okay, mules, again, you've come into contact very little. Honestly, I think they should be the smartest AI, but they're not. Like, they'll just, like, they'll see you, and then as soon as they see you, well, they'll ping you, they'll come to your position, and if they see you, they'll start to chase you. But unfortunately, they're extremely ineffective in combat. And you can take them down rather easily, and you can also avoid any avoid that essentially, because you have weapons that you don't have to kill them with. So I don't see why you wouldn't even pick those weapons. Moving on to the BTs. It's great that you can avoid. They're probably better than the mules because you have to avoid them. And I do like the whole tense situation. The problem is they're in scripted areas, mainly. And yeah, that was one of the biggest detriments, is that every time I go into a scripted area, I was going like, well, okay, where's the BT section? There's going to be a BT section here, and it's going to be a pain. There always was. Every time that I was going to every time I was going to a difficult to access area, then there was BTs, and it's like, so the easy areas I'm not going to get them, the difficult areas I have to traverse long stretches, or difficult to hike areas I'm going to get them, right? And I heard that there's 3 types of BT, but that really didn't play into the game either. Like, there's no real different approach for BTs. You just, like, if it's blue, you can keep walking / well, you just essentially just run everywhere. While it's orange, you have to hold your breath, and you can get close to them and cut them off. And that's the be-all end-all of BTs, unfortunately. Like, there's no, like, you have to stand completely still like you see in the intro. Well, see in the opening cutscenes. There's no difference. Well, I think there was a difference to the speed of BTs. Maybe how they acted. But again, not to the extent of where I'm going to approach them differently. And the boss battles. We have stealth, we have one-on-one fights, and we had... Well, that's essentially it. The BTs were just... The BT is the most lackluster part to me. Yeah, easily. Just because how repetitive it was to fight them, or... Yeah, it was very repetitive for some of them. And they're more of a pain than, like... Oh, I can go completely into this boss fight completely prepared, but no, that's not how it goes. It's more of a long, drawn-out fight, whereas, like, right. It's very well, it's very annoying to try and hit this thing, and it keeps going on, going, even further. Guess I don't need this. But then, you also had the human boss fights with Higgs and Cliff. The Cliff's boss fights put me a lot intense because if I screwed them up, I could, well, both human boss fights I could screw them up real easy. But morely Cliff's, because he had always had 4 soldiers in guard. And as soon as he saw you, he would send them after you. And also, send him after you, and he'd also try to sprint after you and gun you down. Well, unfortunately, that was broken because the first fight had it most tense because it was in close space, so trying to get up the cliff was always a problem. Second fight was a much bigger area, but I could take him to a certain route, and then he'd resume an AI path somewhere close to that, or go into a custom set area like he usually did, which he does with all free fights, and makes it very easy to sneak up on him. And in the third fight, there's a lot of hiding areas. And unfortunately, there isn't much use to the mechanics of the game in the boss fights. It's just use stealth and try to sneak up. Or try to sneak an attack on Cliff. And that was their be-all end-all, unfortunately. Now, Higgs had the best boss fight. He actually used the mechanics of the game, where you had to use your ping to negate his, and if you did, then you could get a successful attack by him trying to look for you. Number 2, you could throw all the cargo at him to get a good hit in. Well, to get an extra hit in with the container you had, or throw it at him to distract him to get an opening long enough to actually close distance and beat him up. Unfortunately, but in the second phase of this boss fight, it kind of doesn't work as well because Sam is not a quick dodger. There's no real mechanic built in to make that side of the fight easier, so it's kind of more of you might have to save the cargo for that section. And the third section of the boss fight is hit him. See, when you know the person that made Metal Gear Solid 4 is behind this, unfortunately it kind of takes away from the one in Death Stranding, because Metal Gear Solid 4's boss, in fact nearly every one of Metal Gear Solid's like end boss fights 1-on-1 is superior to that, which is kind of sad because they're all like they're all a decade old at this point, and Death Stranding couldn't surpass the boss fights. welcome back. But yeah, well, as for the weapons, again, there wasn't really much use for them. In the situation, like, when you incorporate the stuff in such a way, where I'm trying to, in fact, there was barely any sections of the game where I had to get everything for the mules. And use my weapons to evade them. Or have, like, maybe it should have been, well, again, you can't really have this in the game where you have time following the containers, which I also didn't talk about, but that's a good mechanic. It always keeps you on your toes. And the world also the way, unfortunately, mules not being able to move around and everything being so scripted in the game might be one of its biggest holdbacks around, because it stops me from that's a big reason to stop me from using my weapons anywhere, because I might get into a tense situation and go like, oh, okay, yeah, thank you for stopping by, Straswell. I'll try and think of what to stream next on PS4. I'm just going to give my review. If you want to come back some more time for that, if you want to come back to it, that's fine, but because it's also for me. Thank you for joining. Trying to get my place back. Well, I guess I don't need this up anymore. Yeah, and I appreciate it when you do. I hope you join the streams in the Discord more. Bye. See ya. And not using the weapons kind of also plays into the BT boss battles, where I was using the most applicable weapon to fight them. And the gold plane really gives away where the weak spot is, but there was no real reason to try and use other weapons. There's like no benefit to using other weapons. Like if a hermetic grenade is going to be most damaging, I just stock the ever-loving crap of out of blood bags and the hermetic grenades, and that would work. And it might be easier to use that than try to keep firing an assault rifle at them. Traversing the land with vehicles, unfortunately, and the whole all-terrain. No, I think that might come into environment. As far as gameplay goes, there really isn't much to talk about. There just really isn't much to talk about. The best aspects are the equipment you get for trying to traverse the land, and the mechanics that build into lifting cargo and walking about and weight management. Okay, on to the story, and it just goes all over the place. Like the last, after Amelie pushed us, well, yeah, after we saw Cliff and Hardman on the beach, we saw Bridget and Amelie pushed us away. That was the point that the story stopped being cohesive, or stopped going all in one pattern, and then it just kind of spiraled out of control from there. It's just, I stopped caring because the story just went all over the place, and even the way it was being told started going all over the place. Like, we were getting flashbacks of Amelie after Sam was pushed away from her beach, and it just all fell apart. But before that, it was kind of like a linear ride, which did fit well together. Unfortunately, I thought a lot of the people we found significant on that journey not to be all that interesting, and or like integral to that journey, and the people that we connected along the way, they weren't that impactful either. Like, we might have connected people, but they really didn't manage to do stuff and like to help us in the end. The best is it one of the best? It's no. I think one of the story's most lacking aspects is how it's written, how the characters, they don't going based off what Kojima has recently done. His characters don't feel as real. Like, I think a great example is Metal Gear Solid 1 and the Twin Snakes, where the Twin Snakes is more of an actual retelling of how he wanted it written, and MGS1 was someone's natural attempt at making the dialogue viable. And watching both versions, you can tell, like, oh, okay, so Metal Gear Solid 1, it's not actually too far off what people would say. Whereas Metal Gear Solid and the Twin Snakes, I'd be questioning, like, it's a bit of a stretch for some of these lines for certain people to be saying them. It isn't always bad, but it can create a disconnect between the player and what they're watching, because they can't relate as much. And right, on to characters and story. I could describe the story, but as I said, you just stop caring. Right, after Amelie pushes Sam from the beach, the whole story, like, the most intriguing aspect of the story to me was always Cliff, I think. Maybe Higgs wasn't the final boss, which is good, because I was really hoping he wasn't, because this character really wasn't built up to be the final end boss of the game. But unfortunately, he is kind of like the main antagonist of the game. You know, if he's not like he's not the top rank of our problems, of who's causing our problems. He was the person enforcing most of it. Unfortunately, it didn't like, I was kind of waiting for that confrontation between Higgs and Cliff, and it never happened. Also, again, Hartman's family was Hartman's story was a thing. We didn't even get a resolution to that, or even a send-off to Hartman Obama. And oddly enough, maybe not the role they get, but the impact to their role is so much greater than Hartman and Hartman. No, is that his? Deadman. Deadman's role in the story impacts on our characters in the story. Oh, I forgot the whole building connections aspect of the gameplay. No, well, I guess I didn't. I said it wasn't really that integral to going on to it. It just didn't feel as well, because the size of the country was that small. And and Sam being baby. Well, no, Sam wasn't baby. Baby was another. It's just another bridge baby. Sam was a bridge baby originally, and he's taken out of his pod. And him being taken out of his pod and also being revived from the beach. It's everything in motion. And that's why he could. So what we were seeing wasn't Lou's memories, it was Sam's memories. It's just seen them easier. Like Drift compatible in Pacific Rim. Like the memories were flowing through each other. And the whole, well, weirdly enough, the easiest thing to get in the entire story for me was Amelie being this extinction entity, and also having her have a viable body and soul, and one on the beach and one on in the physical realm. Being two separate beings at the same, but being a whole complete being at the same time. That's very easy to get your head around. And the whole rush to and the whole completion of the network. I guess my question is, what is the point of the chiral network? If, well, yeah, what's the chiral network supposed to amount to when, like, oblivion is coming? Like, sure, you can better prepare for it. I don't think I don't think anything in the story is going to prepare them for, like, if antimatter comes and tries to destroy all life around them, or even where the planet they live on, or existence as they know it. I guess that's why they keep on fighting. So they keep fighting. Okay, let's move on to other aspects. Characters. Sam is very all about this. Well, he's in two directions. He's the quiet, calm guy that keeps to himself and has smart comments. But then he's like, besides Lou and Deadman, he's empathetic sometimes to an okay extent. It's where he gets very open in certain situations. I'm trying to think of what instances those might be. Probably not streaming again for a while, is not helping me decide to discern those. He's just very talkative in certain situations, and then he's not willing to help. That's it. That's what I was trying to say. In most of his game situations, he doesn't want to help the people. But when it comes to certain situations, it's just like, oh, okay, right, we've got to do this, we've got to help this, we gotta, I gotta expand the network, I gotta be the hero essentially type of guy, where it was contradicting with the person who we already saw at the very beginning of how he acted, and continued to act as well. And him being the bridge, I just could not see I saw the connection to be him being Cliff Stone. Okay, that's fair enough. The problem is, he doesn't really look like Cliff, which is the only thing that throws me off when I look at it. I was like, okay, I get that you want to make him his son, but he does not look like he should be his son at all. Like, he does not remotely, it's like Sam does not look like Cliff's son at all, or doesn't even act like Cliff at all. Well, the acting thing doesn't matter as much, but I mean, like, knowing, like, showing tendencies that he would act a certain, well, he'd act like Cliff in certain ways. Much more to say in time, unfortunately. Dead Man, very over eccentric character, probably one of the more fun ones. Definitely maybe the weirdest performance out of everybody in the cast. Just how he got up in your face a lot, and how certain times when he's giving information, he's just acting towards you. Mama and Lochna pretty much has no character. Mama again has no character. See, this is what I'm trying to say about Kojima's writing. There's no real substance to what he's writing. He's just putting the characters there, and then there's barely anything. Like, the bones are there. Maybe there's a small ripple of flesh, but there's no, like, meat for you to grab afterwards. Which I'm finding right now, trying to explain these characters, just there to serve a purpose rather than to actually be a character in this world. Her story with her baby dying, and yeah, the worst. Well, oh no, wait. Well, there's a whole thing about her story where she was brought outside the lab as well. She died. But again, her character didn't really amount to anything. She didn't really offer anything to Sam. Die Hardman. Not Hartman, sorry. Well, no, I could Die Hardman. Die Hardman was he's the only character that actually expanded for the game, didn't? Because he went from being like this centered soldier to a person that we've come to see. Okay, we've seen what happened to him, we've seen his past, we've seen his future. He was a soldier in the past. He was helping out the president. Well, he served with Cliff. We saw that he was dedicated to the president, and then he eventually becomes the president. Like, he does go from a certain amount of growth, and I have to actually respect that. And his performance, well, the guy's performance when he started breaking down, that was another scene of emotion where I was like, you know what, there's actually a great amount of delivery in. No, I'll talk about Hartman. Hartman, from the get-go, was the only character where he had like a backstory and an on. Yeah, he's one of the few characters that has like an ongoing mission throughout the game. Like, he's trying to find his family on the beach, and that's all he's continually trying to do that. Whereas everybody else is trying to just expand this network. So he makes him likable, but then he's also I wouldn't say he's likable in the way he tries to connect with Sam and all the things he does himself. The way he acts he might be the most naturally written character in the game. I think maybe Kojima put a bit of himself into that more, so his personal experiences of trying to connect with people, because you could see it in the movie thing, like maybe as a character Kojima could relate a lot more to. And that's why he came off a bit more natural. But again, he doesn't really expand, and I guess helping the Chiral network might expand his own. Well, it might help his own character trying to help his goal. Amelie and well, again, Bridget has real no story. She dies very quickly in the start, but you can definitely see that she has more fear in herself than Amelie does. As for Amelie, I guess she had to be vague for a long time, but still, the whole situation where I saw Bridget and Amelie on the same beach, or she just switched. She was both at the same time, and she didn't want Sam to see what she just did. Well, summoning Cliff, or bring Cliff here. And so she pushes him away. That kind of confused me at the time, but I guess it doesn't anymore. The whole yes, okay. Why is it after we complete the network, is she still, like, she should, after you complete the network, she should just go like, okay, there's no real saving me, I'm an extinction entity, I'm just gonna wait here and try to hold this off. Like, there should be you shouldn't be coming for me. Again, a character that's written very blandly and doesn't really change. Oh, that's about it. Just, like, even the dialogue, like that ongoing flashback dialogue, just kept on going. There wasn't really that much emotion. On the Fragile, because I was thinking of the other blonde female. Every character I'm trying to think of, there's not really much to them. I could go on to Higgs after this, and there's still not gonna be substance. Fragile. The most emotion you're going to get out of her story is her backstory. Fortunately, you don't get to see days with her and her father made out, who expanded her out a bit, or even days with her and Higgs, which might have been which might actually have been appropriate in the game. See. I just can't think of any significant points with her. She tries to connect with Sam, but her whole goal is to try and get back at Higgs and kill him. When she eventually does, her character really doesn't change. Just harden as usual. She might be the most human character out of all of them, because she knows the fragility of life, fragile, being who she is, and that makes her more it makes her sympathetic, but more empathetic towards other people like Sam. I should have mentioned on the Dead Man's case. I didn't finish. Him expanding out is weird. I wouldn't like him expanding out and being helpful to Sam and also being helpful to Lou. Isn't out of character for him, but it's you wonder where it came from, I guess. What cause or measure does working or saying that? Well, working with Hardman does have its merits. I guess he has rights to be like suspicious of it. This is the expand. He also had a bit of extension, but to a very small degree, where he just seemed a bit more up and cheery and less weird in how he acted towards Sam and Lou. And became like, well, I've always been nice, but like, you could connect with him more by the end. He's more relatable character by the end, or at least after the World War II segment with Cliff, his boss. Let's shoot Cliff and Higgs left. I'll do Higgs because Cliff Unger was probably my favorite character. Again, Higgs really doesn't have much to him. He's just an antagonist that's there. He has no backstory at all. He's just causing chaos for the sake of causing chaos. Well, he also had a goal, by it seems, from Amelie, but yeah, it's just chaos for the sake of chaos. And you just mess with people. And that's about it. Didn't really do much else on the story. As I said, he was like the biggest antagonist, but he wasn't the person at the top of the chain. He wasn't even the person who was ordering himself, and like, he just seemed to be going along with stuff, and eventually when that ran out, he just stopped being relevant. Or he even became less relevant in the story because he wasn't at the top. Or he wasn't wasn't trying to change anything or do anything himself. He's just trying to cause what this other person was asking him to cause. Or even trying to do it himself because that's what he believed. Was he a great antagonist? Yes. Without any substance to him or anything really memorable, then he's a great antagonist for while you play the game, but as soon as you go outside, you gotta I think you're going to forget what he's what he said, or how he acted. Right? Not how much how he acted. Like, Troy Baker still did a great performance with him, but comparing him to Joel or Ave as other roles, like, there's just not as much of himself in that character. There's not much leeway that you can give to the character. Time for the star of the show, Clifford Unger. Now, he is the only character where I think everything that you get to see of him works really damn well. When you fight him as a boss, you can see that something's driving him to do this. You can feel like his pain, his resilience, and just how you fight him as a boss, how he keeps responding, how he acts even. Like, you can see that he's a military commander because he has 4 soldiers at every time, and he gives them commands on what to do. And the amount of times he gets back up after the amount of times he retreats and gets back up, he keeps on going. He's resilient, but you can also see the despair of the places that he's been in. And that's where the baby section of it, you can see he has a very strong connection to the child. He's trying to do everything he can, but fortunately that's not enough, and he gets killed for it. He has a very relatable story, and yeah, that's why Cliff's story works a lot better, is because he has a set path on the story, and it has a beginning and an end. Whereas everybody else in the game has a set path. Unfortunately, you don't get either their beginning or their end. Well, you do for Sam. Well, you get a beginning and end for Sam and Lou. But I forgot what I was going to say. But everybody else kind of has like their goal to expand the Chiral network, or they have this like part to play in expanding the Chiral network that doesn't really facilitate itself in the story or really even matter. But Cliff's side of the story is contained to itself, where he's just going to pull you out of the story to put you into his story. That's why it works. And then his story fits in later with what you find out. So his meshes in, like, whereas everybody else's story is just like this ongoing line. Cliff's is a matter of pieces which actually fit in later or all around. Jeez, that was actually a good explanation. For once, I actually explained something very well, and yes, that's exactly why Cliff's story works, because his isn't one bland slate going somewhere. It's a multiple variety of states where you're trying to fit in these pieces, you're trying to connect it, you're trying to figure out what it means, you're trying to ask why he's trying to get his baby back and all that. And there's resolution with Sam, and also find out Sam has this son, and also just a general way he could try to connect to, well, BB, well, which is Sam, but the general way he's trying to connect to him was very emotional and also relatable. I think even more from that, you would get a stronger urge to protect the BB you had, rather than anybody else in the story, because they just saw that, well, yeah, again, he's the only kind of one that saw a BB as a, besides Sam, as a person, as a being, that he's trying to make it happy, he's trying to care for its emotions, he's trying to say, you're going to see the world. But you also get the soldier aspects from the boss, but you get the fatherly aspect from, well, in the hospital before, while he's meeting his wife and his son. You had Mads Mikkelsen bring all those scenes and those lines to much more life with his performance. His acting experience. Right, that's characters, I think. If there is any others that are in the story, I just can't think of them. But I don't think there is. I think everybody else is like a minor character right inside. Onto the world. The world is great in sections. But for those very plain, it's like flat areas of lands, and those plain sections, or like those areas where there's just a gratuitous amount of rocks for really no reason. That gets a bit it gets a bit overused. When I saw a place with a huge amount of trees, or like a cliffside that I could kind of find a path on, it was like a new experience. Then you had the whole climbing the ice cliffs, which I think they might have reused that section a bit too much, but only because you have to keep going up and down it very often. Like, maybe there should have been a better ass way to use the world of the game, is that you don't keep staying in the same area, but you keep going Like maybe a very small bit of back and forth. Like, actually, yeah, that might have been a decent way. Like, maybe, and I just thought of this, maybe when you connect a strand, you have to connect it to a place, like, before that. Maybe you have to connect it to one, like, the cities. So, like, you connect it to Port City, you connect it to Capital City, and then you connect it to the way station, then you connect it to the you have Capital City, you connect the way station to Capital City, and then you go to the distribution center, and then you link that up, and then when you connect that, you have to go back to the way station, so you continuous ongoing loop of a chain every time you go to a new place. It gives you drive to like feel new area, but also gives you reason to go back. It gets you to unfamiliarize yourself with the way you came, but also not make going around the world too familiar, but also not even so unfamiliar that you don't know how to go about it. Like, it gives a new experience going back and forth. But if you stay in the same area where you're just doing missions every section, that can leave it a bit too tedious. Because you get used to the area and there's nothing new, and it just becomes more of a pain to get across it, rather than an experience that from time to time you'll have. In a way, I think the least fitting people to that section of the games is mules, because every area that the mules were in, I was just like, why are they set up here? Like, yeah, the most prevalent one for that was the Timefall farm, but I was just like, how are these guys even here? Like, there's machinery that could, there's nearly I think there was harvesters going around, and just like there's a general farm of people just living right next to these people. So like, how have they survived here? Like, I just thought of it would probably make more sense that mules were in places like where Conan O'Brien was living. They're just randomers that were around the sections of water, or places that cargo might turn up, or, you know, generally places where they'd be strategically placed if they actually were living in this world. As for the BTs, there wasn't many. Maybe there should have been more of a thing where they had more reason to be where they were. Like, there's a lot of deaths that happened in their area, which might have been a good thing if they said that there's more porters in Sam, but there really isn't. Maybe there isn't really many porters, but no, I think, yeah, Fragile has a company of porters, and we don't really see anybody else but her. Maybe there are on the ship, but still, they're not really prevalent in the world. The only porters you're going to come across are the ones that are over versions of her players just walking across the land, or like generate AI that walk across the land. Which also leads me to talking into the whole setup of PCCs and all the equipment that helps you traverse the land. And I didn't find much use for them, but because other players had them structured when I needed them. But they do help you overcome obstacles where they could have been ones. And there's smart ways to traverse the world. I'm thinking of the time where I had to get across the lake, and I found like this path of rocks where I could quickly go into water or try to jump across the rocks. Unfortunately, led nowhere, but still, there are things like that. There are ways, even if you don't think there is, there's ways to get up a certain path, or even make a path where there wasn't one previously, which is actually a very good aspect of world traversal. But one of the biggest issues with the game is just everything so close together. Again, I said this before, it is a game that had to be developed in a certain time. You can't go creating a super massive world when you only have like 2 to 3 years to develop the game. It's just not feasible. Like they played, well, it's just more of a normal play, not to make it that huge. But at the same time, it kind of destroys the aspect of the game where I'm trying to connect the United States and America, and America is very small. Which also makes me think of the BTs. I didn't talk about the BTs that were up in the air and explode around you, but then again, they're just literally floating proximity mines. Yes. So yeah, having equipment like the climbing anchor and the ladder really help you get around. I never really found a use for the PCC or even the road building mechanic, which someone was recommending me during playing, but I just didn't find much of a use for it when I could just find my own other ways around, and I was having fun doing that. Even if did look like a pain to get around it, it wasn't as much of a pain when you're using a bike to get around. Like, it made it playable that I was in the bike. When I didn't have the bike, I'd probably be a lot more pushed away from trying to complete the game. Again, also the power skeleton, speed skeleton's more of a boss battle thing, I think. And the all-terrain skeleton, again, maybe it does help you climb hills, but I never really used it in an area outside of the ice mountains. Ice hills or ice mountain. There isn't much change in the landscape. Really, it's just a series of mountains or hills or a section of rocks. The area around the junk dealer, that was unique. Made that whole middle section of the game area around it, that was very unique for the distribution center south of Lake Knot City, I think it is. Port City, sorry. Is it Lake Knot City? Port the other one. I think that might be Lake Knot City. And that whole area is unique, but unfortunately it doesn't have much. Being unique really doesn't add much to the mechanics of the game. And yeah, I forgot to also mention the backpack and the battery power system. I did like carrying utilities and utility pouch and the grenades where it didn't impact you. And nothing else really affected you, unfortunately. Like, putting on a different colour isn't going to affect your camo. I ain't sure if you can change the colour of your suit in this game. Nothing else to say about that, I think. Trying to get around it by bike was just a lot easier than anything. And getting around it on foot can be fun for a while, but if you're doing a great long stretch with a decent amount of luggage on you, you're just gonna hate it, I think. Or you're always going to be extremely tense. Because let's just say you come to a section of water and you have to cross the water, and it's just like, oh well, I brought all this gear with me that I can barely lift, and now I have to go through a difficult section where either a mule's going to be able to spot me because my tower's so high and I can't run very well, or I'm going to lose all my stamina before I can really do anything. Or I'm going to lose all my stamina. I'm losing all my stamina because of everything I'm carrying. So if I do anything, so if I'm prepared for anything other, I'm not prepared for anything other than a fight. That's the way I went to. I was prepared for a fight. I wasn't prepared to always get around, unfortunately. No, I should use floating carriers more, but there's things that I wasn't often used because I thought they might be more of a detriment based on the scenario, well, based on the situations I could be in, and I was wondering if they could get damaged easily. Then you had stamina, losing stamina from crossing water. You had you had the interactions with BTs. I didn't talk about the BT in the gameplay actually. The standard BTs where you walking around. When you get caught by BTs, what I found was in your first time they catch you and you just walk around, you walk forward and shake them off. I find generally easy. If you have to go back and you have like a ton of weight, they're gonna drag you down. They're gonna drag you down and carry somewhere, and then a boss creature is going to spawn, which is an issue. Well, which isn't very much of an issue depending on which one it is. You just have to leave the area afterwards, and after that you can kind of cheese it and try and run through the area quickly without the BTs notice. Well, before the BTs come back and notice you, which happened first like on my way to the it's the third place and from the wind farm. Which happened to my way on the wind farm. I've even been here. There's a section of rocks where I was trying to get through them. Then I accidentally spawned the squid or the fish type of boss. He's the only one I didn't defeat, I think. Because I had no weapons at the time to battle him, obviously. When I come back, I also didn't have weapons I didn't have enough weapons to battle him. The whole section of the game where rainfall continually happens, and that is actually a good aspect of the game, when it kind of throws everything out the window, like me trying to do stuff, the whole aspect of actually making equipment. It's only at certain places as well. And only being able to rest at certain places. Wasn't much of a detriment, but it is something you always have to think about. And the container thing is always so, like, there's a lot of the management system, as I said, and delivery is a great aspect of the game. And I guess they did think out the whole aspect of, well, at least where they place the places you can actually use to build the materials and rest. And then building your own PCCs and all the interactions with online players around the world, like in the main instruction you make or main instruction they make, and liking those structures. So that's some of them are more prevalent. The useful ones are prevalent. And also having a leveling up system where, well, I don't really see the point to the leveling up system. I don't even see the point. Well, there's barely any point to me getting an increase in the stamina. Well, not even. I get an increase on how fast my stamina reduces, and what's the other thing? The weight I can carry. But again, it was so insignificant that you wouldn't really notice it. I think the physical upgrades that the physical or item upgrades you get, physical/item upgrades you get are much more valuable than the non-visible ones. The SAM that I got. And that's as much as I can say about the world. Yeah, there was the whole game is very bland. There's barely any structures I can think of. The most impressive ones were obviously the BT boss areas, where they really structured them well. Well, the whole old cars and buildings joining themselves out from the back tower look very cool. And the whole was it Westnut City, I think? Is that the final area in the map? Well, the final place we had to link up and find Omni, essentially. That were a lot reminded me of Jack Free in the Collapsed Coliseum, or the Catacombs, as they call them. Just even the way that you feel when you struggle to get through it. Okay, on the sounds and music, I can't rate this. I just can't, because the whole time I was like, this game is not streamer friendly. Because I honestly couldn't listen to any of the songs, because the songs are integrated in the story. They're not something that happens randomly. They're just like, okay, you're going to an important segment of the story, we're going to play this song. It's like, okay. Unfortunately, I can't listen to this because I have to avoid any issues with it. So I can't really compliment the music. Use of sounds. Sam being able to speak really played no purpose. I mean, well, the only time I actually found purpose for Sam being able to speak was, well, having a button to speak, the touchpad to speak, being able to speak, was to greet other porters and them to give me items. That was actually a good aspect of it. Which also reminds me of the soothing BB mechanic. That's another thing that was on Sam that I didn't mention. But it plays so well into it. It's just, I mean, I don't even think it came into play, mostly. And I think the only times where it probably did matter was during a boss battle, where it was still going to work, because it'd probably be much more difficult of a game if it didn't work that way. Well, if it didn't work in those situations. Yeah, that's something for a harder difficulty, but yeah. You play story, characters, world, music. There's generally not much sound. The music that I did hear from the game actually was pretty unique. What the music made for this game was pretty unique, and I wish I actually got more of it. I did like the sounds where the mule spots you, or even when Hake spots you. Like that very siren note. The combat and the gameplay I didn't really talk about either, but really the Strand is the main weapon used. And I did find essentially that Higgs boss fight, I found great use for all the tactics, like carrying the item and hitting him with it to get one hit in, then going for the Strand attack behind him, and then kicking him to the ground. And kicking them to the ground actually does have a benefit, because when you strand a character to the ground and then kick them, what actually happens is that the other enemies don't notice them, or no, wait, maybe that's wrong. Maybe that no, the strands is quiet attack. Maybe kicking them actually will alert the soldiers. Disregard that. But there's like there's a good silent tactics. Or in the game, there's loud tactics as well, which also factor into even just like the physical punching and kicking of enemies, or again hand-to-hand combat. As for the overall message and impact of Death Stranding, I mean, it's kind of contradictory when the person we're playing as disconnects from the world after he does his mission, which I even think goes against what Amelie said to him in the end. It's like, you have people waiting for you. So what does he do? Completely abandons them and just tries to flew. Ease. It's just like, okay. Over message about the extinctions and the race coming back. I mean, that's general stuff, I guess. I mean, it's not really a new topic to explore. Sam being an untouchable person, well, Sam having reaction to when people touch him, and then kind of that really didn't play into the game at all either. It just made Sam give more reason to distance himself. Maybe that could have been a gameplay factor that you couldn't let stuff weigh on you to get too close to your skin all the time. That would have been too much. It probably would have been too much. Maybe you couldn't let enemies. Yeah, maybe it would have been a good mechanic where enemies physically hitting you would have been much more damaging than enemies shooting you or throwing stuff at you. That might have been a good mix-up. No connecting with people aspect. It works, I just don't think there's enough people there, and the area isn't that. But yeah, when I go to a place which says they have a lot of people, I don't believe it. It's just like, okay, but I don't really see any reason for there to be a ton of people here, essentially. Like, this is very comparable to Gurren Lagann. Because in Gurren Lagann, there's also a bunch of people living separately, because they go upside to going to get killed by the beastmen. When they finally break free of the beastmen, they realize, oh, there's a much greater threat that's trying to kill all of us, essentially. Yeah, this game might be like a slight. It might have like the same kind of structure as Gurren Lagann, but not the same kind of journey there. Because also in Gurren Lagann, they also did connect a lot of people as well. And connecting the people, but the problem is Sam's character really doesn't come around to it in the end, and we also see that. Like, he connects with people, then he just says, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go away and do my own thing. And then you have Hardman, just going like, yeah, even though you kind of brought the whole country together and saved it, and we did all this, I'm not going to help you with BB or anything. Like, I'm not going to help you with Lou, and you can just set him free and all that. I'm not going to help you. We're gonna all have our happy resolutions, essentially, but we're not gonna help you do anything. We're not gonna help you physically throughout the story. We're not going to help you. In fact, well, no, maybe Hartman should stay there. We're not going to help. It works. It's just like, yeah, that is the Carl network, essentially, isn't it? Then Sam's connection to BB. Which I guess is the growth of his character. Oh. I think that was something that he connected to on some level, and then also seeing that he is a BB himself, maybe that's the reason he was so open with Lou. Ease. A message between people who gather things, delivery man. Very relevant things right now. It's 7 o'clock, I don't think. It's always what happens when I start running. Is there anything else to mention? Just the characters on the way to all woven together. As I said, a lot of them are blank slate. Cliff's the only one that has like pieces. He has his own story set apart from the main one, but his story comes into the main one. And it blends seamlessly, and it actually works. Like, you just take away his parts and still enjoy his section of the game. And also Matt Mixon's performance as Cliff, where he felt like much more of his own character trying to live in this world, rather than a character developed so you can play the game or progress through the game. Which I think which I think Hartman also fits into. But then you have characters like Lochner, Amelie, and maybe even Dead Man to an extent. So I was trying to think his name. Which are there to like advance the plot and also like just have the goal of expanding the Carol network, or doing certain other things for the Sam story, or to progress the story of the game. No, well, the concept of being connected to the dead, not a bad one, but it had much more of a practical use, and then find out Sam's the reason that all this stuff happens. The extinction entity, well, yeah, then essentially stuff from the beaches starts bleeding into that world, into the real world. Like, it's a cause and effect. Yeah, it's a cause and effect. But an issue with it is that there's no real reaction to Amelie's Amelie's choice at the end. Or extinction entity's choice at the end. The extinction entity just makes the choice for itself, and that's pretty much it. You wander on your own beach for a long while, and eventually you're found. Yeah, then you're found by Dead Man and Lou, which is... I still don't get why the gun... What did they say they found it? I'm not sure. I remember the gun was important, but when he tried... I don't exactly know how that worked. He said when he fired the gun, or tried to use the gun, that's how they found him, but I still don't know exactly how that worked. Or even how someone like Cliff created temporal anomalies. This is something even more of a confusing matter. Where a storm will literally come and take you to a beach. Or how a dead man... Well, actually, that part actually makes sense. I guess he could just be a very powerful BT and just take you to that land. And then, I guess, Amelie gave Higgs powers, well, access to powers. That's how he could control BTs and summon Timefall and all that. And the overall message of being connected and unite America, and I just didn't think there was enough characters to make it feel alive. And Sam, as I said, Sam just kind of contradicts it in the end. Like, a few characters have a great journey. Like, Sam has a great journey connecting with Lou and May, Dead Man. John has a more human journey throughout his experience. Cliff has a great journey, well, great set experience, which he gives a lot of life to, between his bosses and his start and end of his life, well, what we see of him. And Hartman has a great start. Unfortunately, it kind of just cuts off after the middle. Like, his main goal isn't to help us, but he kind of becomes to help us, unfortunately, where he tells us his goals, like to find his family, and that's it. Anomalies being an extinction entity, like, see, well, I'll talk about the minor characters building the connect. Oh yeah, one of the most emotional parts for me was helping the junk dealer meet up with the car artists again. Their interaction was actually probably the most natural and emotional thing in the game. And then they were gone. That was it. They had one part of the story, and that was it. And that's essentially all the way the side characters go. They don't really feel integral to the plot. After you leave them, are they really there anymore? Again, I did get the same feeling from Peter Engelbert, who was actually Higgs and delivering pizza. But yeah, Amelie being the extinction entity, it just kind of threw me off when, as I said, Hardman and Higgs were on the beach, and then we see Bridget and also Amelie pushes us away. That confused me because I thought they were like, okay, are two separate beings existing at the same time, but one's now in more control than the other. That's why I started running away when she tells us to shoot her or watch the sunset with her. It was like, something's not right about the situation. That's what I was talking about. That I was thinking maybe Bridget is in control of the situation and she wants me to strike Amelie down. But I also lends that whole credence of why didn't she just tell me not to do anything after, like, the final knot, and like not say. If she always knew that she should have said, like, I'm always going to be extinction entity and this is always going to happen. The best I can do is try to prevent it from happening, and nobody really can help me. Maybe giving her a final message would have been embarrassing rather than going to her beach to try and rescue her. But I guess if you view it that way, maybe it does work a little better. Then the final aspect was the soul and the physical realm, well, physical body, which really doesn't play into spirituality all that much. There's more. Yeah, that's a weird thing. There isn't much spirituality in this game to kind of take from. It's more like the physical. Yeah, it's more like the bodies have more of a physical impact in the world. Well, not when I talk about. I mean the BTs have more of a physical impact in the world. Like they leave footprints, they hunt down anything that comes near them, trying to claw their way at anything that is life or alive. But the void house being caused by bodies eaten by the BTs. and taking things to incinerator so that they don't become BTs or don't. Well, yeah, the BTs don't eat them and they don't call and they track BTs there. BTs all struggle with life and death, actually. The problem is that the most characters that I apply a car and how to really don't make use of it. Like Bridget, essentially, yeah, the two people who say the bodies are here, unfortunately, just die. And don't really, well, I guess Mama does something a bit spiritually, but unfortunately, after that, after her body dies, that's essentially her main story for the plot gone. Her baby also gone. It really didn't have an impact on the player, but it had an impact on her, but not the player. And Lochna, you can't think she's going to take up her mantle or her side of the project, but not really. Okay. And Amelie, again, Bridget died, her body dies so fast that there's no real spirituality. It's more about the struggles of physically living in the world rather than think of what happens beyond it, or why these things are still, why the BTs are still lingering here. As this game has a lot of, it has a lot of depth, it just doesn't have much substance or depth. It has very deep ideas, but they're very sparse and not that well interconnected or woven together. And even what is there, it doesn't have enough like substance or like additional content or information for you to derive from it. Like even like reading the emails from people. Reading the emails from people does make the world a bit more alive. Unfortunately, that's as alive as you can make them. Like the people aren't going to come out and greet you gradually, or they're not going to be doing things like across the world while you're traversing it. They're just always going to be in this bunker. They're going to have a set of animation, they're going to have a set motion, they're going to have a set amount of lines. That's all it's ever going to be. And then you have connecting the world. Well, but yes, the barely any spirituality. And you have connecting the worlds. World's pretty small. The minor characters really don't play much into the story or help Sam in any great way themselves, rather their connectivity, well, then being like a still point to connect the network is more of the bigger aspect. And learning about BTs and all such, again, just kind of thrown out the window, because by the end you're like, okay, Sam's the reason everything's caused. There's no real mystery to anything else. The BTs or the beaches or anything. It's all like Amelie's powers bleeding out, or Amelie's, or like the universe punishing Amelie for trying to help Sam, baby. The whole message in connectivity. It's the connectivity is there. It's just there's no one. It feels like I'm connecting places. I'm not connecting people. Maybe that is the best note to go out on. 7 out of 10. It's a great experience to go through, especially for the delivery aspect and maybe the boss aspect. So the human boss aspects are great. The BTs not so much. They just took like long drawn out fights where I was just getting a bit bored, and like every time I was going to stick my neck out, they were very annoying. Well, they already had like an attack rate just to decimate me. My blood. Then you have the human AI, which, in fact, yeah, human AI barely works. The private room. I didn't use any EX grenades. I didn't really see a point of crypto bios. You do drink porter. You can use the map. Again. I can see like the timefall and all that, and all the areas for mules. The areas for mules and plant was good. The roots and pine roots there, which is actually very underdeveloped, because every time I want to like follow a route, it sets a route from where you currently are, but not where you go. It's like when I create a route, or even like if I want to follow a route, you create a route, the route doesn't like it doesn't. You're not a starting point for route all the way around. Your starting point, the point where you were, is the starting route all the time. The route, that starting point isn't following sound around. And then also just trying to summon the line so I could see that route. I'm not even sure if that was a feature. And then listening to briefings on deliveries doesn't really add much weight to them either. Taking showers and using body excretions as means of weapons was good. Unfortunately, I just didn't see much. Well, maybe they would have been more effective. I just didn't get around to using them. And then checking on BB rate and effect on the whole like system. It works for the structures. I don't think it really works for the yourself as a player. Or maybe it does. Maybe it's an upgrade system essentially. The upgrade system that actually might have some value. Unfortunately, you don't really need it to complete the game, the main story of the game, and everything everything. Like once you complete the main story, it's like I think everything else is so standard. So standard and bland that we come back to it. It's like it's a choice you want to have a fun experience with delivery, but not if you want to gain more from the character of the game, or like the world or story or lore of the game. You're not really going to get that much more out of it, because the main story is giving you most of it, and maybe there is a few extra bits made that would be nice to know. It's just like the tedium of doing a delivery, or picking up lost cargo, or making a standard delivery at a certain amount of time, or a certain way it has to be carried, is a bit too much for like a little upgrade for a weapon, or a little upgrade to your equipment, or a little upgrade to the rank between people. When it doesn't help when you're like one of the most valuable people, because you're the only one that's bringing them the deliveries they want, the packages they want, and they still take so long to build up between them. Which again probably plays into connecting this, but it's like when people are this closed off, when people act this open to me, but then are also so closed off in the aspect of they don't connect with me as easy, or they don't open up over time, do they want to connect? Well, is there much effort for them connecting? Which probably is, in the beer aspect, they probably feel more alive that way. But none of them play a bigger role in the worlds, or even the story. And so while they can feel alive while you're delivering packages, when you're going to another section of the plot or another character, the only thing that's alive about them is the email they may send you. And as for the other characters, the main characters, well, there's also the fragile teleportation, but they don't help you that much either. They're even fragile who can teleport anywhere. Or yeah, there's also upgrades to that bot. I never used that standard bot delivery. Upgrade them. Yeah, the main characters don't help you that much either. Even you might even get more from them. You might just get as much equipment or upgrades from my characters over time, and they may be more valuable than what the main people will give you. Like, well, there is the cufflinks that cuts the umbilical cords to BTs. The main something that you get over a great amount of time with a minor character you deliver to might only equate to something that you'll get very easily in the story. It's a great, and the journey from beginning to end, like going that whole distance, that is a great aspect. It is a great, there's a great sense of accomplishment from going point A to point B. There's more accomplishment in that than there is delivering a package to someone, because the people just don't feel alive and they don't really give any extra reward for it, other than you might get a certain item from them there and then, but you're not going to see them in the world. They're not going to help you out with something. They're not going to, like, say, well, they're not going to, like, give quick transport anywhere. And the main characters are just the same. Besides Fragile, who does teleport you from private rooms. And the whole private locker stuff, and fabricated equipment, and China room. Private locker. Well, again, they're finding most use for private locker, fabricating equipment, found a decent amount of use for. And the share locker I used it for getting vehicles that I could use to traverse the land when I couldn't, but given other people's materials, I didn't do it essentially unless I found like a PCC structure where they needed chiral crystals, and I only think I only did that once. So does the world interconnect? You connect the world in your great long journey, it just doesn't feel like that world has much left in it. Which is what Amelie's trying to say, like the world, there isn't much left to the world, and well, there isn't much life left, much time left to the world, but it's still going to try and fight to survive, even though it is something so minimal. Well, or even the characters, what they do, and it feels so minimal. And this great extinction event feels so huge. We're going to still keep fighting, even if most of them will be wiped away. It all may all mean nothing. They'll still come back. As this easy way out goes, as that song goes, I'll keep going. So I think I've rambled on enough. If anybody has any additional questions, I'll probably answer them below or in the comments or something. So yeah, I guess I just want to say something about the connectedness to the game, but I don't really have any good comment on it. I don't have any like coming together comment. Like there's a whole structure, you build a whole path and structure to connect land. But what does that really accomplish? And I guess that might have been what I've been trying to say. what we're trying to think of in my head this whole time. It doesn't really accomplish anything, because that whole journey amounts to nothing. And what do you get at the end of that journey? You get a bunch of people connected, but those people don't feel alive enough that they interconnect them with themselves. But also, when Sam completes his journey, he just finds out that most of this is just like for a meaningless purpose and undoes most of the plot. That might have been exactly what my brain was trying to... Yeah, I think that was probably exactly what my brain was trying to say all this time. Is like, say something about this exact point of the plot. It essentially undoes itself. It essentially makes a lot of what you do pointless, because it just says, yeah, well, this extinction entity is going to happen anyway. So this was just your futile attempt to try and stop it. May it is stopped, may it isn't. May, but it feels like, yeah, it feels like this extinction entity is such a big thing. Like, even it's way bigger than America, or planet, or even the human race. But it's still going to say, okay, yeah, maybe this interconnected cities thing where these people barely do anything, other than the porters, are going to have a chance of surviving, which is, it just doesn't seem feasible compared to the scale. The scales, like, one's this massive universal aspect, and the other is just like the small, like, few pity people or communities thing, or cities thing, like small gated community thing where they have to try and stand up against it. But that really doesn't happen in the story. That's more just like something they have to do in the future. Now people can still connect, like the car artist and the junk dealer. A great aspect that might be the one working people that actually showed that between communities and between distance and between groups, that people can still connect and work together greatly. Unfortunately, a lot of the rest of the characters in the game don't have it, and a lot of the other characters in the game don't even have that kind of central anchor to what they want to do. Like, they want that kind of aspect for the plot to connect with other people. Not even Sam does. Yeah, connecting the whole series of United States of America was more of a aspect for the plot than a general theme for the game. The game wanted to use all its characters and make that a theme for them to go about. Like, the most connected thing that I thought in the game was Clifford, Sam, and Lou, and how they're all interconnected. They made Sam the anomaly, but Sam the anomaly didn't really go anywhere. She's just like, I'm an extinction entity, I don't want to be saved. I thought Bridget was going to be a more impactful thing, but Bridget just, well, when you find out Emily and Bridget are the same person, they just essentially wiped. Like, yeah, Bridget wasn't really a different person. Even though Bridget was essentially became a dead body, it really doesn't matter. It's like, it's not going to affect the soul power of her, or even what this extinction entity is. It made the extinction entity, made Amelie more susceptible, just like, I am the extinction entity and this is going to happen because of that. But despite all that, her character doesn't really have much point beyond, I'm an extinction entity, I set all this in motion, and I'm going to try and not let this happen. And Mama's character barely had anything to her outside the general plot. Everybody else, I think, was trying to help along in their own way, but didn't really have, well, Hartman also had a connectivity to his family, but unfortunately, as I said, there's no real end to that plot, and we don't really see Hartman or Mama in the end, or Lochna in the end. There's just Sam and Lou gets to survive out of his casing, well, out of his pod. For some reason they can stand in the rain, and there is no timefall, yet there's timefall in the game right now. And, well, the containers being damaged, the whole aspect of containers being damaged, no timefall and timefall, not really affecting anything other than containers. It's another one of those aspects that make you worry, but it isn't that much of a big factor. And the only questions I have, I guess, is how are Sam and Luke going to live in the world with them being off the grid and being far apart from everybody else. So, yeah. 7 out of 10 for Death Stranding. Will I play it again? Probably if I want a monotonous experience, and probably if I want another try at the game. But playing it once, I think the best aspects that I come back for are the boss fights and the delivery side and trying to complete the deliveries faster and get up the routes and make other routes and make some structures. But as for like going to mules and trying to connect characters, not as much. So that's the end of the Death Stranding series. Will I stream this? Maybe I stream this again if I want to do like a standard mission, keep people entertained for a while. But besides that, I don't think there will be. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this series. And this is Gengai Z turning off Death Stranding. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching. See ya.